silly, ridiculous, a waste of time. They didn't want that's why they were so successful. That's why they got away from it.
I made a living in it very dangerous.
This is really an integrated blue society.
Diane Andrews in Black and White.
Welcome to Diane Andrews in Black and White. I'm your host, Diane Andrews. Thanks for being with us today, and thanks for following us all the years that we've been here trying to bring you shows of purpose and of education. Today is no different. As you know, I just did human trafficking with Father Behe. He has the Safe House for trafficked women. We do a lot on politics. I also like to do shining a light on people, I call it. People that I think have done so much with so little in the beginning. They start off with nothing, but they end up helping so many people. And most people that start off with nothing, some get very greedy about themselves. Others decide, I want to dedicate my life to service. Today, we're going to talk to someone who did that, who started off in the projects in Mobile, Alabama, with a single mother, even though his father was in his life, which is a wonderful thing, that he had a great father. So if you come on back, you're going to meet Dr. Willie E. Smith. He is now the chancellor of the Baton Rouge Community College system. And you're going to see from where he came and from what he's done in his life. Being an athlete also, who ended up with an athletic scholarship to our own Tulane in New Orleans. He played football. So come on back to Diane Andrews and you'll hear of a very interesting man.
Hello, this is Fuji Totes. I just found out Fuji could not come in with me, so I'm making a little video for you to see how the pillow works with the doggy in it. As you see, Fuji's in here in the bottom of this. At the end, after I take him out, I'm going to take all the things that are in here with him that you need on a trip, or whether you're just going, for an afternoon, everything you need to take the dog. I have driven all the way to Las Vegas, Nevada, and taken Fuji and my other dog, my multiple, with me with their meds, their leashes, their water cup, and whatever, and one pack, a couple of packs of food are in the bottom of this. By the way, I even have a COVID test. If you think your dog has COVID, it's in the bottom here that you can carry. And I'm going to show you, even with all that in the bottom, he can still lay here and feel nothing. You see him sitting down on it. He can still do that with all the things in there. And I'll show you what was in there. He had a Play-Doh. He had the COVID test, as I laughed about. He had a heavy leash. He has a water bottle. He has some food. And another leash. This pillow only weighs about 3 pounds. So whatever you need in your necessities are for your dog can go in here, along with the dog as you carry him wherever you want to go. To the park. And I'll tell you, sometimes I use this to put things as I go outside. So this is Fuji's Totes. And they are patented. Now, I'm going to show you in the presentation the large pillow. All of these are multifunctional pillows that can be used for cover-ups, for totes, for luggage. And I'm going to tell you the story how I started Fuji Totes. Fuji was, but anyway, I'll say that personally to you. I don't have to tell you all that now. Thank you.
Welcome back. Thanks for coming back and joining us again here in not my studio, as you can see. I am at Baton Rouge Community College in the Governor's Building, and I am with Dr. Willie E. Smith. Nice to see you again, Dr.
Good morning.
Smith.
You as well. Good morning.
As I said in my intro, when I met you, when we worked on the St. Jude project that was here this summer, and I talked to you and I saw you, the things you were doing, that you have grown this university 43%. You came in 2019, 10 months, temporary, I guess. What did you call it? The tenure there?
Just interim. I was the interim chancellor
of the college system. And then you became
the permanent chancellor in
2020.
Yep.
Okay. Baton Rouge Community College was established because of a 1994 federal court consent decree because of the discrimination in the Louisiana higher education system. And it ended in 1998 is when you started accepting students, I think. Isn't that correct,
Yes,
Doctor?
correct.
So you were at, you have your BA is in history, I think. I think you told me.
Social services.
Social
yes,
services
minor in history.
from Tulane.
Yes.
Tell me, how did you get to Tulane as a poor project young man? Tell me, how did you get there?
Well, I would say it was hard work and my faith, but also having a caring mother who provided for me and my brother in one of the harshest housing projects, a ghetto in America, Happy Hill, Josephine Allen product. I think that I got to Tulane because I was a pretty good football player.
What did you play? What position?
Don't look like it now, but I played defensive back and safety.
You were a safety back in the day, yeah.
I was recruited by a lot of colleges, came to New Orleans, fell in love with the city of New Orleans. My dad, who was, my mom and my dad separated when we was like 9, or divorced when we were 9 or 10 years old. He was in the Navy, and he always talked about New Orleans and infatuated with the city of New Orleans. So when I got here on a recruiting visit, I fell in love with it, and I chose Tulane University.
New Orleans was a little different than it is today, right? It was a lot better then, I would say. But they're going to get it back together in New Orleans.
Yes.
So you were there, but was there someone who guided you as a coach in high school? Was there one person and several people that helped you become the man to get that scholarship?
I think it was a few people. You know, in life you have few people who influence you in your life, and sometimes when you go into life, you don't see the things that they did to bring you to it. And I'd be unmindful if I didn't mention my mother, who instilled values in me and my brother, even though we lived in a poor, tough neighborhood. She always taught us to fight. You know, we had to fight to survive. My uncle, who was the first on my mother's side to go to college, he went to Alabama State, and I saw him going to college. So I was infatuated what was college about. Never had been out of Mobile, Alabama. One time when Alabama was going to Pensacola Beach, of Gulf Shores Beach back in those days when they had Gulf Shores Beach, and Dolphin Island Beach, if I should say. And when I actually got a recruiting visit to come to Tulane with my dad and my younger brother, I actually saw the city of New Orleans, got to meet some coaches.
That's the biggest city you'd ever been to in your life at that time.
Absolutely. Yeah. Got to engage in cultural things. And I say that because that's a lot of students, young people who look like me, who have not been out of their environment to know all the things that life had to offer. That was opening eye experience for me to see the city, to learn more about football, to learn more about life. And then I had a high school coach who was in my ear talking about this is the way to get out of the projects or the ghetto.
So your coach was one influential in telling you, get out of this hood.
Yep.
And you got the talent.
He was very influential. He supported me in my career. Larry Henderson, he's a white guy. I said that, but he cared about all his players. And he took particular interest in me and talked to me about life and those sort of things. But it was an opportunity that he supported me to make sure that I was able to get in Tulane to be successful.
Now, you weren't like Dr. Ben Carson, were you, who wouldn't study the books, and his mother had to sit there with him, who couldn't read, and fooled him. How smart this lady was. She fooled both, I think his brother's a lawyer, and she couldn't read, but she said, y'all gonna do the homework right here with me at the kitchen table.
Yeah. Well,
and then their studiousness got better.
Well, we was fortunate at Tulane because they gave us all the resources, you know, tutoring, study halls. We had coaches who wanted to make sure that not only were we good on the field, but off the field in the classroom. So we was lucky there. I had some challenges like any other athlete, any other student. You know, when you adjust into a new environment, I did well my freshman year, but when you start getting out your sophomore year, you start getting exposed to the city of New Orleans, right?
The girlfriends.
The girlfriends. The French quarters.
Yes.
All the activity that.
It's been a great place to go to college back then.
It was good. I was recruited by some very, really good football teams, and I chose Tulane probably because of the atmosphere and seeing the culture here in that city, in New Orleans.
Did you have an aspiration to play pro ball? Was that what you thought you would do?
Early on, I did. I had aspiration on playing pro ball, but I also think that I did not have a plan. You know, oftentimes when you come from impoverished or low poverty environments, you think about survival. You don't think
Yeah.
about your career plan aspiration. But by playing football, I thought about being a pro. But in around my junior year, my oldest daughter was born, and so I had to really think about now what I'm going to do next
Right.
if I don't make it for football. And so I started focusing more on my studies to make sure I graduated, and then my next career decision for once I graduated.
And then you went on to Troy and got your MPA, your master's.
Yeah, it took some
Public
time.
ministry.
It took some time that I mingled around with some dead-end jobs, a few jobs here and there, but knew I wanted better for myself and certainly my daughter. Ended up going back to school to get my master's degree, but at this time, I met my wife.
Yeah.
Who's we've been married, be 30 years next year.
What a wonderful story.
Right.
Yeah.
Great story. And I met her and we started developing a family. So I knew to have
You have 5 children,
I had
right?
5 children. I knew I had to do more to support my wife and my family and myself. And so I started pursuing my master's degree at Charter
Is
University.
she a New Orleans girl?
She went to school in New Orleans, LSU Health. She's a nurse, nurse practitioner now.
Oh, great.
And I met her there at one of the hospitals that we worked at together. But she was actually born in Lafayette, Louisiana.
okay.
She was
Yeah.
a Acadiana, a Creole girl.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you came here and found the love of your life.
Absolutely.
So you got a lot out of coming to Louisiana from Alabama,
Well,
right?
I would say she was lucky too.
Oh, excuse me. Okay, yeah, I would say that too. I would say
right.
a beautiful couple is always a great thing, right?
Yeah, but she had been by my side every step of the way
Yeah.
in my career, supporting me. She probably paid most of my tuition for
Yeah.
me to go back to
Oh,
go to
wow.
school and
She
those
was
sort of
nursing
things like
then.
that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 So she was nursing me
Yeah.
as one of our children to get back in school to get education and to be better. And so
Now, going to Auguste to get your, is that the?
Auguste.
Auguste
University.
Yeah, to get that was that an online university?
The online
Oh, okay.
university. It was one of those online institutions that popped up. But
Yeah.
it was good for me because at that time, I was interested in doing more in education.
Mm-hmm.
I was interested in more how I can help people that look like me and other poor students across the country by being in a leadership role that I can be an advocate for them
Right.
to support them through their success. And so I just start chipping away at my doctorate degree, Auguste University online. It was online. I was also coaching both of my son's football teams. So it gave me the flexibility to coach them in the day, and at night, early in the morning, I would do my schoolwork, my lesson, turn my schoolwork in.
You're a great motivation, especially, let's say, little boys who are in a poor situation in the hood.
Yeah, and I say that oftentimes,
Or the trailer,
you hear about the bad things. Certainly, I also come to violence, drugs, and a whole bunch of things growing up. But the environment want to do so who I could be, right? And so oftentimes you don't find role models or people in the community that young men, especially young black men, can relate to.
Right.
I did it through a coach and my uncles, a few other people that I had friends, but I also wanted to make sure that I did with my son, that they can see me as a role model. I turned on jobs throughout the country to stay to be with them, to support
Yeah.
them, which I didn't have a father around in my life daily as they
Right.
did. So it was an opportunity for me to help them become better young men. And
He
they,
was off being in the Navy, but you had a great relationship,
Yes.
so that's a good thing. Your adjectives, when I was reading information, my research on you, you're called uplifting, you're called an advocate, you're called a team builder. They also say you get over institutional barriers. I saw something about Southern University's law school. I read about how you work to tell us about what you all are doing here with Southern University's law school.
So that we're doing a lot of work with most of our higher education partners where our students transfer to the 4 year. But with Southern in particular is those students who have been incarcerated of their record. With their law department or their law division, help support those students because we train for ExxonMobil, Dow, Shell, many of your big chemical companies, and those students need to have a TWIC card to be able to work in the environment, and you cannot have a record. And so we work with Southern University Law School, Law Center to support our students so they can get those barriers removed off their record to be able to go to work for some of those companies.
Are they going to do it for Southern students and BRCC?
What they do for it's the same, it's one partnership
Oh,
for
okay.
everybody. So
Oh,
whoever
great.
we recommend and send to them, Southern help with their
That's a
trying to
great
get those records
thing.
removed.
Is there a lot of students that have records here?
I wouldn't necessarily say a lot, but it is enough student folks out there who think that they can't get to their dream goal
Right.
because of their criminal background.
one,
and
it's
their
enough,
record,
right? Yeah, you're right,
And
yeah.
if I tell my life story, I was never arrested for anything, but I know how trouble can can interfere with some young people's life and things that they go through as a young child or young adult, and they get in trouble. But that shouldn't stick with them. And so working with Southern has allowed many of those young people to find their career objective. And we've been working with them to send all our students there who go through our program to help with those resources.
That's really wonderful. Are there that's one institution, Barry, I read about what you're doing. Are there other things? Because you're known for that, was what I was reading.
Yeah, just throughout my life, when you raise with challenges, you always have things that you have to get around or go through. I call it blockbusters, who is in your way. Blockbusters. You have to be able to block those busters out, or roadblocks, right?
Right.
And so, I call them blockbusters because they block people's progress. And at BRCC, we had a lot of things that we was doing that was not of age, that was not the time that we live in, and we had to change some of the things from co-requisite to prerequisite model, from general education offering where students get stuck in general education, because our average age here is 26, 27 years old, and you're going to find most adults who've been out of school for 6, 10, 8, 12 years probably don't remember fractions or don't remember the algebra and geometry and those sort of things, but yet we put them in development education for the duration, and they cannot be successful. I think that we can do both. Still allow them to achieve their dream, to get a skill, to get a job, support them educationally where they can be successful. And those was systemic barrier that we had here at BRCC that we had to remove to support students.
That's why your peers selected you for the AACC committee.
Yeah, so I'm part of now. I'm a board director for American Association of Community Colleges.
With the peers select you. That's the highest honor you can have when you peers select.
Yeah, it is for my career. Your peers select you from around the country.
Right.
Most folks know my track record of being someone who advocate for all people, but certainly who advocate for folks who come out of poverty,
That's right.
Who have challenges academically, or people that just gave up on them in life. And I've been doing that all my career.
There's a lot of that out there. It's amazing when we think about it, how many people have those problems.
That's why I think community college is so special, because they meet students where they at.
Now, when excuse me, but junior college, you hear in California, you hear the word junior, but that's the same as you, a 2-year university, right? College,
pretty the same. We're a young system. We're 25, 26 years old. Our whole entire community college system in Louisiana. If you talk about California and Texas, Mississippi,
they've been
doing it for years, and it was called junior college. But they have changed now to we recognize that community college, because we have a dual mission: supporting students who want to go to the full university, but also those students who want to go directly to the workforce.
Now, do you think that they can get certificates here that are not 2 years, right, in different areas? I remember when we did the St. Jude program, we were over off Lobdell? We were off Lobdell.
Yes.
And that was for mechanics. What was that for? What is that for?
We were at the Lobdell Center at the Automotive McKay Training Center, which is right on Lobdell. Pretty much the program was around heavy equipment operators, automotive mechanics, and those credentials called industry-based credentials, where they're short in nature. Don't require you to have a social degree, which is 2 years, but now you can get those credentials from 6 months to 8 months now. And things are moving around our society so much that our industry partner need a workforce faster. And so those credentials are heavily based on skill-based and skills that these students need to be successful.
That's a beautiful building over there, too. You have grown the university by 43 to 47%. You had 11,200 students, part-time and full-time grad and undergrad.
Well, at that time I think our head count of today is over like 17,000 student head count.
Really?
That is your credit and non-credit student, workforce student, and adult education student. That is head count. So we're moving in a larger direction of serving more students. And we are the only community college in our system right now that have double-digit enrollment growth over the past several years.
And it's 8 locations in 6 parishes.
8 locations in 6 parishes that we offer through all of Greater Baton Rouge, in East and West Feliciana parishes, Ponkapee, Jackson, as well as in New Road.
You're going like 50 miles or more in every direction, it seems, from Baton Rouge.
Yes.
And did all this happen, where the 8 locations, did some of them come about since you've been in power, Dr. Smith?
So those locations came, BRCC merged with the former technical college, Baton Rouge Technical College, in 2012. It was only the Baton Rouge campus that they had at the time, but all those other sites in the nursing department, Frazier, but all those other sites came at the result of a merger in 2012. So they have been here since 2012 to make one large footprint for Greater Metropolitan Baton Rouge.
And now people don't usually think of your college having athletics, but you do here, right?
Yes.
They don't think of, I never thought about it till I was reading, the athletic director. What do you have basketball?
So we have men's and women basketball, we have women's softball, and we have men baseball, 4 sports.
Any
here at
football
BLCC.
in the
No
plans?
football. I get that often all the time.
I
People
know
ask
you
me
want
about
football.
Football, man, but we don't have the budget to ascertain a football. So I run a joke that I say, if you want a football team at BLCC, I need somebody to give me a dime with $100 million.
Oh, wow. I don't think Our Lady gave you 10, 12,
yes.
and then you have raised over 20 million in your time here.
Yes.
So you may make it happen. You may make it happen.
Well, I think that while we are proud of our sports and the sports team, we got a great group of coaches and athletic director. Well, our value is more so making sure we serve the citizens of Louisiana who are actually trying to get in the career and get to work.
And you have smaller class sizes, 25 to 29 to 1 ratio, I read.
Yeah, 29 to 1.
29 to
29
1.
to 1.
So that in most universities are what, 40? Average 45, 50?
We're a community college, so we're intimate setting than most of the university. University could have 40 to 60.
Yeah.
It just depending on the size or the nature of the course. We do have some courses here at BRCC that have 30 and 40 students in the course, but on average, we're like 29 to 1.
That's one reason I wanted to feature you and this college, because I think people don't understand what's being done and what they can get out of a community college by starting here first. And maybe like the automotive mechanic, they make a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of people are reevaluating in this society now. You have all these people that went to Yale and majored in liberal arts and stuff, spent, you know, $500,000, which made no sense. But reevaluating, get something niche specific, 6-8 months, and I can have a career the rest of my life.
And I think if you and I look at it this way, when we were growing up, someone said you had to go to college.
Right.
And we always thought about the university. And again, a community college in Louisiana is young.
Yeah,
25
I'm
years
from North
wasn't really there,
Louisiana.
right?
Yeah.
And so we're a young system, the technical college world. And so someone always said about going to college, but nowadays they didn't talk about what specific college or what you want to major or what you want to become. Now with the jobs that are so available here in Louisiana, it only requires less than a 4-year degree and less than a 2-year degree.
Right.
Now, those interbank credentials are high opportunity now, high wage, high demand career field that many of our students are choosing now, which is good. I think that the conversation that we had years ago about going to college, we need to be more specific on what college and what you plan to do when you get to college, and where do you see yourself 5, 10, or 20 years. Those are conversations that we want folks to start having now, and we want BRCC to be that place. I think we're doing a great job. We have over 70 degree programs, 5 that are really high wage, high demand program, our nursing, our manufacturing,
let's talk a little bit about
our
the nursing.
transportation program, our construction program. Those are some of our major programs. Our process technology program, where on average those students start out making $60,000 to $70,000.
That's with a 2-year degree.
No, actually, some with a 2-year degree and some with only interbank credentials.
I think people out there need to really hear that.
Yes.
Because you can spend 4 years, a lot of your life, and a lot of money going to 4-year college and not make that kind of money, depending on what you major in.
Right, and I think the biggest thing to take back from that is where most students, if you see across America, are in debt by paying college tuition, where you can get these interbank credentials for less than $2,000 and $3,000 a year, depending on what you go, what subject matter you're going in. But the chances are it's less than the burden on them, because once you go to college, you got $50,000 to $60,000 in loan debt.
Right.
You got to pay those things back. So now the community colleges, I think, it's a very sweet spot for our community, for our state, for those folks who have not decided what they want to do just yet.
Right.
Because if you get one of those degrees and you make that kind of money, you can pay your way now to go to the university, which all of our courses are transferred to the 4-year colleges.
Okay, so I went 2 years, so all of those, even if I wait a little while, say I decide to go back 5, how long does that last, that you can still credit that,
It basically lasts in
time?
perpetuity. There may be some university who may want to retest you or do some things there, but once you have those approved through accredited college, which we are, through SAC COC, then no courses stand with you for the duration of your life.
Now, I saw that, I read, and this may have been old on the internet, but 58% of your people are online, of your students. Does that sound about right? And about 20%?
Post-pandemic, when we came out, we still had a large, about 50-some% of our students was online. Now, more students are coming back. 2 years ago, we was at 50-50. Now, I think we at maybe 35% that are still doing online, and the majority are coming face-to-face. So it's changing a little bit. And there are some students now, because their experience of being online, And we got students, we attract students from all around the country here at BRCC who find it easier to be online than to come to face-to-face. Or hybrid. That could be some of it offered face-to-face and some of it offered online.
The mix of online versus in campus. So you have a lot of students online who don't even live here because of what you offer. Tell me about the nursing department, because I was in healthcare many years. I had 150 employees, and nursing is one of the most needed and wanted and demand jobs, profession in the country, but especially Louisiana. We were flying in nurses from the Philippines to work in, and Canada would come in. So tell me about the new building. When we pass down Florida, we see the new building, the nursing building.
So when you pass down Florida, certainly next year around March, early April, you're going to see a new $50 million project, Nurse Allied Health building. And really, we needed that. We had outgrown our Fraser facility that is downtown near Julia Street. We had outgrown that. We did from a capacity standpoint, from an equipment standpoint, to serving more students and technology. We could not afford to continue to upgrade that facility, so we knew we need a new facility. And the state legislators, give my shout out to Senator Cleo Fields and all of our Barry delegation who supported us getting capital outlay money to support this project. And we have did some analysis, post-analysis, that the day we build that building, we're going to be over capacity. It can serve 1,200 to 1,500 students, and the state is going to receive their money back within 5 years of that investment. But imagine having 1,200 to 1,500 more students in nurse allied health field that can go to our employers who are desperate, who need these students, who need this talent.
They can get a job today.
They can get a job, absolutely.
In Baton Rouge.
Absolutely.
Not just have to go outside Baton Rouge.
And so we're excited about that. We're excited.
How many students will you be able to handle in that building with the FAT facility?
Between 1,200 to 1,500 students.
That's what it's going to have.
And all nurse allied health
and in 2 years, they're an RN.
In 2 years, they can be RNs, LPNs, medical assistant, respiratory.
Oh, you're going to have LPN over there, too.
All
medical assistant?
All the medical and
not CNAs. Are you doing the certified? You're doing those also?
Yeah, I had a lot all of those will be in that facility there, housed in one location. Now we just got them spread about our campus, but now we will have a truly state-of-the-art nursing allied health building. And let me also thank our partner with Our Lady of the Lake Health System, who generously donated $12 million.
You're on the board of trustees.
Yes. I was on the board of trustees then at that time.
They knew they were going to get you.
But we generally donated $12 million to support that, and we couldn't do a lot of this without their support.
Well, you're the kind of person, when you meet you, no one's a stranger to you, right? Have you always been that way, Dr. Smith? Always,
always a friend.
Your mother like that?
My mother was. She has a reservation on who those friends were and to check those friends.
And she probably was right. She probably mothers are always right.
She probably was. But I always think that everything that we do in higher education, even like is relationship building. You build a relationship with someone to either better yourself or to better them or better our society. So that's the way I look at it.
Let me ask you, we've been talking about degreed versus non-degreed. You want to be in education, you want to be in administration education. Of course, you need a PhD or an ED. You have an ED. Do you think I guess it depends on the person. We kind of said that a little bit. But if you had to do it over again, would you still get the PhD and spend the time and do something else? Is there something else you would have done in your life?
I wouldn't.
I know you want to be an actor. I do know that.
Yeah, absolutely. That was my passion, to be an actor at one point. But definitely I wouldn't have pursued my PhD. Had I known what I know now, I would have went into community college and got my degree in construction management to be my own contractor. I love building.
Own your own business.
Own my own business.
Yes.
Absolutely. And community college is the gateway to a lot of our students being able to be their own entrepreneurs and have their own business. If I had to do it over, I would have done that.
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you again, Dr. Smith, for your time. I'll see you later.
Thank you. Thank you.
This pillow was one of the first two made. You've seen Fuji's pillow before. This is Gucci's. This pillow was made in 2019. Now I'm putting a small medium, my doggy red and gray one in. As you see, I do not have a large. It's a stackable. Putting it back in the living room. 30 minutes after it's washed, it's dry.